welcome to another episode of the Ultra Happy Podcast. I am your host, ultra runner and coach Tania, and the magnificent co-host Andy.
Yay!
Yay! Do you like that one? Yeah, we're still sticking with that one.
2 weeks in a row, magnificent. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with being
magnificent.
for 3
Love it.
Normally you call me a lot worse than that. So
That's the only the time you're like
That's the only
called
time you're nice to me.
magnificent. So, quick update. We are 9 weeks from the first desert. So I feel like when you start hitting single digits on everything, even when I'm in races or anything, when I start hitting single digits, meaning like 9, 8, it's just the cat is
closer.
It's just going to start going really, really, really fast. So quick life update. We did the marathon last week.
We did. And that was we. Well, I didn't run the full thing, but I was out there. I was out there.
Oh my God. I have to say, I am a little bit broken still. My legs are not 100% functioning. But yeah, we did it. It was...
And people might have seen the clips and stuff like that.
Oh,
You've done it in good time. I mean, if you probably couldn't miss me shouting 7 hours, which is actually a fantastic time when you consider that you had your backpack. Because when you came in at the first lap, I was like, oh, the time's good, but you could see you were a bit coming.
So just a quick... just to remind everyone, so we did a marathon, so obviously 42 kilometers, and this race in particular was 2 loops of 21. So you do 1 loop, come back to the start, and then off again. So it was kind of nice because I was able to see you guys halfway through.
No waffle.
There was no waffle. The whole point of this race was to try out the fuel and everything that I'm going to be using for the challenge, all the nutrition that we tried last episode.
Yep, I'm still buzzing for the caffeine for that.
Yeah, so I used all of that we were trying out, and that worked perfectly, I think. I never felt, bunged or with low energy. Also, we were very lucky because we had a really nice day weather-wise, which that helps a lot here in Scotland, because usually if it's a wet day or a cold day, to be honest, I know it's super wrong and you shouldn't do it, but I guess when you are cold, I don't even want to take my gloves off to eat, or I don't want to take my, you don't want to stop to take off your backpack to look for food, or you just get lazy because you're like, I'm already cold, I don't want to move, or wet, and you're like, I'm not going to move. So because the weather was nice, I was able to fuel properly, did everything that it was planned. And I think I ate a little bit more than that was the whole point, I guess, eat more. Because in the second loop, after I seen you, so I had crisps halfway. Yep. They were wanting to come out in the second loop. I was definitely feeling a little bit like, just like battling to get them, like to stay in my stomach, because I was getting some flu reflexes.
The reflux.
Yeah, they were just trying to come out. I was like, no, please just stay in there and just breathe and just concentrate, don't throw up.
It was funny because obviously being part of the crew, I was only in for the end of the first lap because I couldn't go out there. But obviously part of the crew's job is when Tania comes in, we get the backpack off, I get the water bottles filled and putting whatever in. So I'm putting the water bottles, I'm getting them filled, and I'm saying, right, how's the nutrition going? And I turn around and Tanya's got a packet of salt and vinegar McCoys like that. Just filling her mouth full. And I was like, slow down a bit. Slow down.
Maybe I ate them too fast. But you know what? You need to be fast. So I was like grabbing the whole bag.
Slow down.
And literally like shoving them in my mouth. Maybe I wasn't hungry because you don't eat because you're hungry. Like I've been eating quite a lot. But it's those races, I feel like ultra running all together is just like an eating competition. Like you just need to eat and eat. So
and funny, the only thing that you wanted when you came in was Coke.
Oh yeah, I was so thirsty. But that was my cheating thing.
Because you can't do that in any of the deserts.
Yeah,
can you?
there's no Coke in the desert. So I do have to say that was my only cheating thing. And then in the other 2 checkpoints that were through the route, I did drink Coke, as well. So sorry, bailed on that one. But you know what? I was thirsty. And like I said, the previous episode, I do struggle with a little bit of sugar. Like I need to find sugary bits or sugar things, and I like Coke because that has a lot of sugar, obviously, and it's it's very well known in the ultra running world that you do want your Coke when you get
Coke
to
and beer.
checkpoints. Yeah, Coke and beer. Oh, I love a good beer, like almost at the end of a long race. Absolutely, but there was no beer this time, but definitely was Coke, which I shouldn't have had it, but you know what, I just treat myself with that because I was but everything else went really good. So you said the first loop, I was thinking in doing it, so the cutoff was 4 hours for the first loop. So in my head I was trying to rush, because 4 hours for someone that is really slow already like me, plus adding the weight stress into it, I knew I was going to be overly slow, like much more slower than usual. So 4 hours was cutting a little bit tight for me. So I had to put like the turbo for me.
You done it?
But I did it in 3 hours and 15 minutes.
So you were 45
first.
minutes in,
So I was hammering the downhills.
Yeah.
That's why my legs are very, very not happy with me.
But obviously, I was talking to the race coordinator, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And they were saying that they do it every year there.
Yeah.
But they changed the route this year because of tree fells and different things like that. But the route was just solid. Solid incline. It wasn't like a mountainous, but it was just solid incline.
It was all the way up continuously, at least the first 6K, and then you go down, but the downhills were like very runnable downhills. So that's what I make up a lot of my time, because I'm not scared, and I'm quite strong, like legs to run the downhills. I pass a lot of people in the downhill, and they pass me on the uphills and the walk-in because I am quite slow in the uphills, but I know I will catch up on the downhills, for example. So I made up a lot of time. But I was hammering the downhills. I think that's where I made up all my time through the race. And the course was very, very, very runnable. I think we were laughing at the case that the first place did it in 3 hours and
3 hours
20 minutes or something. Oh, 18 minutes.
Now, do you know something funny about that? Because Tania was obviously coming in her second, at the end of her second loop, and I had a good chat.
The guy had already finished. He was showering in his house already.
I had a good chat with the race coordinator, one of them, and lovely people, and actually a big shout out to those guys because I thought it was really well organised.
High terrain events.
High terrain events. It was really well organised. The setup was really good. It was really safe. Everything like that. All the amenities were good. There was a cafe, so it was really good. But what was I saying now?
The guy that you were shocked that the first place.
Thanks for that. So I was talking to the race coordinator, and I was saying, it's been really good today. I said, how's it been? And she said, I said, many are out there. She said, there's still 10 to come out. I said, my Tanya's due any time. I said, so what was it like? The pace was really, really quick. So me standing at the start line watching it, I actually, they took off, and I mean took off sprinting, and I was thinking to myself, here we go. So I said to the pace was really quick taking off.
Because you're used to like watching the ultra runs that everyone just even starts walking,
you know. But I was like, what was it? I mean, what was that all about? And she said, well, wait, I tell you, the first person in to complete the ultra marathon, the full marathon was
the full marathon, not ultra marathon. It's just a marathon.
The full marathon.
Yeah,
was 3 hours and 18 minutes, and actually both of us, me and the coordinator, burst out laughing.
I can imagine that.
Really, I'm thinking to myself, Tania is still out there. This guy's probably away home, had his dinner, had a shower.
And I still have to do another loop.
Still going round.
He's like, he finished.
But
he's already home.
It's the competing that counts.
That is just insane. That is crazy. When you told me that, I was like, that. And
you had to
that
go
goes
check.
to.
I
did have to go. And I was like, no, I think you got the numbers wrong. Yeah. But yeah, I guess it is true. I'm going to say the route was very, very runnable.
Yeah.
Like if you are a sprinty person, I can see that. I could definitely see it. But it was, that was mental. That was great. And it was in a very nice area here in Scotland, in the Scottish borders, like you were saying. And it's
beautiful there, isn't it?
It's really nice, and that park is usually used for mountain biking. So it's a great place. You said they had a lot of amenities and like coffee shops and stuff for people to just hang about. And even I think there's some families that were just riding the bikes and stuff while waiting for the runner to finish. It was quite nice. So and then after the check-in, I met my friend Emma. Because remember that the plan was that I was going to run the first half with her, and then I will go in the second loop by myself, because I read that both half and fulls were going out at the same time, 9:30. So that's why I was like, Emma, you need to do this with me. We can juggle the first loop together, and then, you finish and I'll go out again. And she's like, yeah, sure. She just hangs up and everything. And then we get to the race and we discover that the half is going to start half an hour later. So 10 a.m. and I was going to go off at 9:30. So very sad news for me, shocking. Thank God I had my earphones and everything ready, because I thought, I'm not going to use them for the first half because I'm going to be with my friend. But thank God I had them there. And so sadly, she had to go on her own adventure that day, but she smashed it.
Absolutely smashed it.
She
Well
absolutely
done,
smashed it. Like I said, she is an athlete that I train for many years now. And even though her objective is not to be a runner, has never been to be like, she's never been in a runner program. She loves the challenges. She's fit and strong. And I told her, like, 2 weeks ago, do you want to do this with me? And she said, yeah, sure, sign up. And there you go. She finished it, So that shows you that, you don't need maybe ages to prepare. Just keep fit, strong. And I'm not going to say that you're going to run it, fast time. But she enjoyed it. She said that she was a little bit hurt, but I said, me too. So I think it's just part of the fun. And she was able to complete it. No injuries, no nothing. She just had a really nice day out and, accomplished something great.
Yeah, she hadn't done before.
Yeah, so it was really, really fun.
But we were talking about the mindset, remember, of getting round in that kind of marathon environment as well, that even though it's less than what you'll be running in the deserts, that you still found some mentally challenging moments, didn't you?
Oh, so many. I think since the beginning. And I was ready already because, like you said, the pace that everyone shoot off was shocking. I mean, I knew it was going to be a marathon. These people are like sprinting for a marathon. Like, so first of all, I was
looking for Usain Bolt.
I know, they were so fast. And I knew that was going to happen. So mentally I was ready to just feel slow. I know I'm already slow, but I was overly slow. Like, even if when I wanted to, like, take off a little bit, the backpack is just so it takes you back. Like, it's so harsh on the body. So I could feel definitely like the pull back when I wanted to, let's say, pick up the pace a bit. Like, the backpack just absolutely stop you from doing that. Also, I felt it very, very hard on the downhills because obviously you have gravity pulling you down, and then you have these heavy, backpack pushing you down as well. So I needed to use my legs and my quads to brake even more to obviously don't just roll down the hill. Yeah. So that was very, very painful. I was getting a lot of cramps in the second loop already. My legs were absolutely broken.
You came back after the first lap, you were actually grand until you sat down for 2 seconds.
Oh yeah, because I sat down to fix.
And then you started cramping.
There was a bit of rubbing in my shoe. I think I didn't tie my shoelaces properly, and so my foot was kind of like moving inside my trainer. So I was starting to feel it. Another tip that I can give everyone out there, I started to feel it. I didn't have anything. You couldn't even see anything, but I could feel it. So right away when you feel something, you assess it right away. So don't wait until it's a blister to assess it, or don't wait until, it's already, you can see something. If you can feel there's something in there rubbing, right away I put a comp pad like a pad in there,
pad, that's right.
and that's it. Or just do something to practice with a couple of things. A tape. It could be a Vaseline. Sometimes people do that. With Vaseline, I have my comets. I swear by those. You even like them. You use them for behind your shoes. So assess the things right away. So right when I came back, I was like, this thing is robbing me. It's just starting to rob me. Like you cannot see it, but I just right away. That's why I sat down. And then when I sat down, like my legs absolutely locked.
That's never happened before.
Never. I never get cramps. So you can imagine. I think it was my body is responding of, oh, you are definitely pushing it. You're definitely pushing today. And plus I was pushing because I was really scared that I wasn't going to make the cut-off time. So I was going fast. In my world of going fast, I was pushing. I actually remember I was saying that I was so excited because I had a lot of podcasts that I wanted to listen and like audiobooks. I didn't hear any of them. I was put my power songs and I was pushing, like grinding the whole entire loops. The two of them I was in. I think I just had the earphones just to have something to listen to, but I couldn't even, if you ask me what songs I listened to, I can't even remember. I was like so in the zone, like, like move fast, and concentrating in nutrition. That took a lot of my mental time.
I could tell that when you were going back out for the second loop, that I could see the way you were moving and you had a bit of a moan about it. And I was like, right, okay. You need a push here.
You know what? It's super hard when you go back to the start finish, and then you have to go out again. And the worst part is a loop. So you know what's coming. Yeah. I think that for me, that's why I don't even like to do Ricky's, because I don't like to know what is coming. So in this case, I knew what was coming. There were a couple of brutal climbs that I did them the first time. You'll see it in my Instagram. And I even filmed them because I was laughing at the case that I'm going to have to do it again. So I was like, I can't imagine I have to do this again. It was like, I'm so insane. Why am I doing this to myself? So it was a struggle. And then the second time, I knew I made it.
In fact, it was such a struggle you getting out that I had to drag you out and take you for almost a kilometre.
I did a little bit of a moan. I cried a little bit. Not cried, like literally. I just did like the, oh, please help me. And he's like, all right. And he walked,
okay, come on.
He walked with me a couple of meters to kind of like in like where the trail starts.
A couple of meters. Bloody 3/4 of a kilometre.
Okay, we'll give you a kilometre.
Although funny, you're walking up there with the poles and everything, and I'm walking with the the shopping bag.
He's just going shopping
with the nutrition and everything.
I know you're just going for the groceries.
I'm going for the messages. Groceries, for the messages.
And I'm like, all right. So he walked me to the start of the trail, sent a wee message to my parents.
Kicked your bum, moved you on.
Yeah, and that's it. We're out again and again. I just head down, and like I said, I didn't even put my earphones. I didn't put my audiobooks. Like I was going like full on. Like my head was going so fast because I needed to push. The second loop, because I made it 45 minutes early in the first one, I thought I'm going to do it slower because now I have no pressure. I'm just going to, walk much more. And in my head, I thought I was going much slower.
Yeah.
Obviously, we finished 2 loops, so on. I checked the times.
And they were similar.
And shockingly, I did the same time.
And that's not what we expected.
Swear to God.
Because going out to the checkpoint, you'd said, that gives me 5 hours to complete it. So I should do that,
walk
no problem.
I know.
And then you'd sent me a message saying that you were 5k away. And I was like, better get in the car, go and get you. But that 5k, I looked at my watch and I thought, that's pretty fast. Do you know what I mean? Because you were expecting you to be a bit later. And I thought to myself, right, good. And then when I got down there, I thought, you could do this in 7 hours. And
7 hours.
On the button.
So the limit time was 8, I think, for the organizers. So we did it in 7 hours. Yeah. Yay! Yeah. And like I said, the second loop went, I felt much better, maybe because that shows you as well the power of the mind, because the second loop, I was not pressured and I thought I'm going to go slower. I said, Tania, just relax. Like, we're going to make it. Just enjoy the second loop.
Yeah.
And in my head, I thought I was doing that. And at the end, I did the same time. Like, it was the same pace as the first loop that, accordingly to my head, I was pushing it and going super hard. And it was exactly the same time.
I'm going to put you on a spot here.
Oh, no.
If there was 3 things that you've learned from this race that you can take to the next one,
Okay.
what would it be?
The first one is the one that I always say, patience. And it took me a lot of patience because those climbs, people were like running them or walking them way faster than me. And I mean, I know I'm slow again usually, but this time took an extra bit of mindset to be like, everyone's going to pass you and you have to be okay with that.
Actually, as well, I know it was half an hour of a difference between the marathon and the half marathons, but you had the super fast half marathon guys.
Oh yeah,
coming
they
at your
passed
back
you.
and
Oh yeah,
overlapping
they
you,
passed
almost
you.
not pushing you out of the way, but you have
know,
to make room for them to pass.
I know. That was a bit stressful.
So that was a bit. Yeah, I mean, so that was all happening as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Grand.
Yeah. So very, very patient.
Second one
What I learned.
that you can take to the next race.
The food was good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the food was good. Maybe more. Remember the energy bars that you tried that you tried last time.
Yeah.
I think I need more of those. I think I put a little bit too much of gummy and chewy stuff.
Okay.
And it was not that I was getting hungry. I had other options in my bag, but remember that in the desert, I may not have those options. So maybe a little bit more of solid food, let's call it.
Okay.
Yeah. And the last one, take a Coke.
we spoke about that when you came back. Like, how am I going to take Coke?
How heavy is a can of Coke?
I don't know. You can just get the wee ones. You know the ones that you get on the airplane
imagine
sometimes.
that would be brilliant though.
Yeah.
But I guess we have to make the backpack and realize and check if we can compromise and taking a Coke to the desert. That would be. Oh,
but
imagine having a Coke in the middle of the desert.
From an on-runner, it's funny how that's super important to you now. Do you know what I mean?
I think if you ask to any ultra runner in particular, guys, you need to back me up on this one. Coke is life.
Yes.
Well, Coke drinking Coke, people.
Yeah. Because we discussed that in the last podcast about the Colombian stuff.
Yeah, Coke is absolutely life. Like, oof, it's so refreshing. I don't know what, it's just refreshing and brings you, like I said, I think it's because I like the sugar, that sugar I can take. So yeah, I don't know, maybe we should study the Coke situation. But yeah.
Another question is, see, obviously in this marathon you were running there and obviously you had the weight on, so you were practicing all that. Will there be something that you'll do different from a temperature point of view? So for example, you were running there and it was pretty cold. I mean, it wasn't freezing. It wasn't raining, which was the plus. Yeah. But it was still cold and it was windy. And the higher you got up, the colder it got.
Yeah, it got windy.
But in your first race in Namibia, that's going to be warm. Is there anything like that you would take
Not
from one
yet.
to the other, or anything that you're thinking about?
Oh, I'll tell you what. We did say that I think that T-shirt that I was wearing, I did a little bit of a gear check as well.
Yeah.
I know those shorts were too long for Nambia, but I was checking on my T-shirt if I felt comfortable with it, and I did. So I think I am going to take that T-shirt, and I told you that I think this is the winner. We're going to take this one. And the reason why I need to do that fairly early is because we need to stitch the patches to them. So I need to start, getting those on my gear that I'm going to take. So I think the T-shirt, for example, it was very good. For the weather, it was refreshing.
Black.
Yeah, that's the only thing though, is going to end up black. But I love that a little bit of it as well.
Looks
like at the end, like it's going to look a little bit like I just went back from war or something. Yeah. So yeah, I love that one.
I was wondering if there was anything that you'd actually learned from it.
Learned, that T-shirt I think is going to make it to the desert.
Race is a desert, so you have to put all your thoughts into what worked well there and what didn't.
And then socks wise, for example, I always wear the same socks. I wore them to Jordan. I wore them to, they're some Danish endurance socks. So
Fancy.
I know. Super fancy, and I bought them in Amazon.
Oh, did you?
I can put you guys a link down there, but they are the winners for me. They've never had a blister with those. And I was trying a lot of socks, obviously, in all these years. And I think it was I was so lucky because I think it was the second or third pair of socks that I was trying from different vendors and seeing which ones. One's very, very ages ago when I started my running journey 5 years ago. And I found these ones literally online, Amazon, and
perfect.
that was it. I got married with those. I've been ordering them since then. So yeah, I have a boxes of those socks now. So yeah, we're getting ready for. Apart from the marathon that went very well, I think we jumped that hurdle very well. Good job, team, there as well. We survived. We stayed in a really nice hotel. We had a great weekend as well. And the People's Hydro, that hotel was really nice. The dog was there. We really had a really great weekend and enjoyed. Like I said, we enjoyed and we made the weekend out of the race. A little bit crooked the next day. I was a bit walking a little bit wobbly, and even yesterday was still a little bit. I tried to go out for a wee jog yesterday, and Andy had to go and carry me for a little bit. You went for your run though.
I went for my run yesterday.
Yeah, I tried, but that didn't go very well. But I think that helped a lot actually. So I was already thinking how the hell am I going to do that 4 more times in the desert? Yeah.
But that's always going to be the case.
That's always going to be.
Because at the moment it's the unknown.
Yeah, it's the unknown.
You're not.
Like I said, once you get in the race, something switches on. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Even in this one, remember you guys, I was a little bit nervous about it and all that. But once you're there, I don't know, just your mental toolkit again. I have it really well built in, and I was like, hey, you know what to do. We've done this before. Let's get going. So I know it will respond quite well. But
I think when we're saying it's the unknown, you've already done a stage race in Jordan, which is the same thing, just a bit different because the mileage is different, right?
And the weight.
And the weight, and the weight. But it's not out of the realms of possibility. You know yourself. You've already done the marathon there with the weight. You've done a stage race in Jordan in the heat, the sand, the desert. So you've got those things. Do you know what I mean? And you've done that for 5 days. So it's not out of the realms of possibility. I think that you just need to get your head around it.
But that's right. Yeah.
You just need to get your head around it. You're fine.
But I like that I'm scared because I feel like that's what drives me a lot. And that's why that's what I keep training. I would say, I don't know if I've told you, I've been invited to so many podcasts, so I don't know if I've said it in a podcast or here, but that drives me to wake up and train every day because I am not a sporty person by nature. I'm not mad about running or exercising. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not that kind of personal trainer either that loves to be at the gym or running. If it was for me, trust me, I would be in the bed or watching TV. We love cuddling at night with a dog. And I love that much more than being out, right? But I do love the challenge and I do love traveling and I do want to go and explore those places. And sadly, the way to do it is you have to train to do that. So I have to be almost scared of that to push me to go out. Because let's say if I sign up for a 10K, that wouldn't push me through the door in the morning. I would be like, oh, I know I will survive that. It's fine. I will be able to run it, But if you say you need to do these 5 radar, right now I'm scared. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do them, and that's what drives me every day to follow my training to the T because I don't want to get there. Yeah,
but that's a historical thing. That's a gradual thing. There would have been a time in the past where
that the marathon was crazy.
You would have been getting up to go. So I think everybody's got that fear and that goal.
So I would say if you're going to put yourself a goal, I mean, obviously it's too personal, but I think works for me, and I invite you to try it maybe, to get a goal that scares you. And even though you say, oh, I will never be able to do that, trust me, if you put the time and training and the preparation, you eventually will turn into the person that will be able to do it. But you do have to put yourself in, sign up, pay the fee for your marathon, 10K, whatever thing is big for you in that moment. Yeah, like you said, that's true. Maybe at the beginning for me, a marathon was when I signed up for the Chicago Marathon, I was so scared. That's why I was going out and doing my training. Because again, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And then obviously that started escalating until we're here. But yeah, I invite you to do something out of the comfort zone entirely.
That's the one thing, just when you said that there about when you pay for
You're going to sign up for the marathon?
No. That when you pay for the marathon, if you think about a lot of the clients that you get, they say, I'm doing the marathon on such and such, I need the training.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That is that point of and I know you can back out of it obviously, but that is the point of no return.
Yeah.
So that is, and like I say, it could be a half marathon, it could be anything.
Whatever.
It's whatever they need to train for, but the minute they pay the money or the minute that they sign up, there's a realisation that that's there.
I need to do it.
And they have to do it, and that's what gets people up to train every
Well,
day
now I'm in the
as well.
realization that I need to do Nambia because I
I
started doing the logistics for the traveling. I already booked the flights because I needed to know where I was going. Oh, by the way, guess what? I have a news. I think I haven't said it here. Guess who's coming with us?
Well, no, I'm not going.
Oh, you're not going?
I'm watching the dog in the bank.
Well, guess who's coming because Andy's not going to be able to go. My parents are coming.
Yep.
Yay! And they decided, so the race organizers, they have a friends and family package that they can pick them up the last day, the day before of the last stage. They pick them up, they arrange everything, and they drive them through the desert to meet you where you're going to start the last stage of the race, which is 10K. So it's pretty much, the race is over pretty much, and the last 10K, everyone just kind of walks out and, and it's kind of like a party, the last 10K in this case, in this race. I don't know the next ones. So I seen there was this possibility, and I thought, what, my parents definitely will survive a 10K. So they are coming. So I signed them up for their friends and family. And actually, speaking about what we're saying about the put yourself on a big objective that scares you, my mom last week was like, yesterday she sent me a picture that she was out in the park running. And I'm like, why are you in the park running? She's like, I'm running 10K in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So now she's so scared.
And you're like that, are you? I'm not.
She's so
You'll be crawling
scared.
the last 5K.
She's like, I better start training, man. Like, I don't know.
Before your mum will cross the line before you.
And she was scared. Well, not scared, but she was like shocked because she's like, oh my God, I just did 3K and I am about to pass out. I'm so tired. She's like, I don't know how we're going to do the 10K. And I was like, you guys are going to be fine. I'm starting to train them as well. I'm sending them their training, program and everything. But that's what, that shows you. Now my mom is in the realization of, oh, shoot, I have to run 10K in the desert. So I better get moving because I don't want to, die in the middle of the desert just there. So
but logistically, like you were saying, it's not been easy, is it?
No. So I've been trying to find out, because obviously I'm a Mexican living in the UK, and I have to figure out the visa situation. It hasn't been straightforward. I've been having to check a lot of websites from South.
We all have.
So first of all, I thought I was going to Nambia. Well, I'm going to Namibia, right?
Yes.
So I thought, okay, I just need the Namibia visa or whatever. So I started Googling if I needed Namibian visa or permit or whatever. And then we have a WhatsApp group in
Runners chat.
Yeah, of the guys that are going to be in the race. And one of them sent up a picture saying, I need a South African visa because I'm going through, I think they're going through Johannesburg or something. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I'm going through Cape Town as well. But I thought Nambia was the same. No, South Africa was the same country where Namibia is.
No.
So, yeah, newsflash.
To be fair,
It's not.
It is confusing because
So I thought,
South Africa is a South Africa with certain states in it.
yeah,
And Nambia,
has
is on the
another.
border of it. So that's on the border of South Africa. It is the south of Africa, but it's a country in its own right.
Yeah. So if you ever attempt Namibia, you need to get your visa for South Africa and another one, if you need to Namibia.
Yep.
So I thought, I just need South Africa because Namibia is in South Africa. So I just need one visa. But then I realized I don't. Anyway, I haven't been able to really put my finger find if I need a visa or not because I am just transferring through South Africa. I'm not staying there. And I don't know either if I need a visa for Namibia. Sam, the organizer, which, by the way, we're going to have in a couple of weeks, well.
Yeah,
she
as a
agreed to
guest,
jump
that's
in.
good,
I know. Like, she is if anyone has seen everything, it's her.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to ask her a lot of questions. I'm going to start my list. If you have any questions, jump in. And she was trying to call the embassy in Namibia to ask them, and they didn't even know either. So we're all very lost.
She called the embassy and
They're like, hey, I have a Mexican runner. Does she need a visa? And she said that there was a lot of like asking around. And it was
some crazy ladies coming from Mexico.
Yeah, like there was no straight answer. So we are both very concerned as we don't know. I guess there's not a lot of Mexicans going.
But actually, see that logistics thing. While we knew on the planning of the race on the planet you were going to need to get visas and things, didn't think it was going to be this complicated.
I never know.
So see for anybody in the future that would be looking to do these sort of races, it's something you need to get sorted pretty quickly.
I'm pretty quick. Yeah, now because I just realized
you're looking at China and you're looking at everywhere else.
Now because I realized this late, I think I'm starting to just panic a little bit because also we are in 2 weeks we are going to Dubai, so I'm going to lose that week of doing any paperwork or anything. So I'm in the point of panicking because I don't even know if I need a visa or not at this point. But yeah, fun input there, guys. If anyone's going to do any race, I guess, abroad, it has, these complications of...
So it could be that just the ultra happy podcast, not racing the planet.
What? And I was
I can't get my visa.
Imagine if I'm doing all these podcasts and telling the world that I'm running this and I don't even make it to the first one.
We'll just set up a studio somewhere. We'll just set up a studio somewhere with a green screen. I'll come out and give you a medal.
I was thinking that it was so stupid. I was like, I've been like, saying all this for a while, and
don't
then
think like that.
We will figure it out. We'll always do.
That seems now that we've said that quite a big bombshell that we said.
We'll figure it out, but we'll make it. Don't worry, guys. We will definitely make it.
Drop you in by
because
parachute.
I know. Swim.
Swim over.
We'll just swim over from Dubai.
You're a swimmer, you might be able to.
I'll have to start swimming like a month before, but all right. And I do want to obviously make it because I now decided to do the run as well for even a bigger cost than just me and the podcast. And, I thought this is something bigger than me. It's the biggest thing I've ever done. And obviously I will be racing. This one is one of those races that are very international because there's people from all over the world. A little bit different from Ultra X, which was mostly UK people. And the races I've done here also obviously are not very, let's say, internationally known. And these ones in particular are very, very, very well known internationally. A lot of people from all over the world come and run these races. And that's why they ask you for your patch with your flag and everything. So I thought, if I'm going to be representing my country and doing the biggest thing I've ever done, and hopefully being the first Mexican finishing this feat, I do want to have an impact, hopefully a positive impact in something, in an area. So I was able to find a charity that I would love to support during this doing this challenge, and it's called Semillas Durango, and it's a charity. It's a house located in Durango, in Mexico, of course, and they help kids from really rough backgrounds. That area of Mexico is very mountainous.
Yeah.
And in a very high rates of poverty.
Yeah, it's quite bad.
And these kids are coming from indigenous backgrounds, obviously, all that area. And sometimes the families don't have the means or the money to supply food for their kids. And they go and drop them off in this charity, which they are able to be taken care of, food, school, everything, and they are able to fully develop with this charity.
Do such an amazing job, don't they?
Oh, I love them. I've spoken with Janet, which is the director of the charity, and we've spoken a couple of times now. And the funny thing, it was when I first reached out, it was because I found them and people were like recommending me to this charity. Oh, they're doing an amazing job. Because I was asking first, like, I need a charity that really makes a difference. Like, or, one, exists, two, that it's that that the money and, is going to a good place. And I got this charity. I spoke with Janet and she was saying, oh, it's so funny that you get in touch now because my son, which is starting to get involved again in the charity, it's a runner as well, and he is starting to train the kids, and they are starting. She's starting an athletics club, and they are running, and they are discovering that through movement, through the sport of running, they are able to, find joy, despite their difficult backgrounds and that whatever they're coming from. They've realized that running, they can find an outlet to, to have fun. To burn that energy.
They've been out there in competitions and already winning competitions.
Yeah, the kids are so good. So I don't know if you obviously are a runner, you've heard of the Tarahumaras and the Raramuris, very famous in all those high areas in Mexico because they live in canyons. Yeah. So they are quite fit. They have a very genetically they are very good athletic people, right? So all these kids have that in them. So with a little bit of support and guidance, I am pretty sure they already, I'm not pretty sure, they already won a couple of races that they've been going.
They sent you a message, didn't they?
I know. Pictures. So I'll put them, if you go to the website GoFundMe, which I'll put obviously the link down below, you can see there I keep posting the updates from how they're doing and what they've been doing and what they've been up to. So they have found out that, and Janet was saying that it would be great to kind of, and I thought as well, obviously, that it matches perfectly what I'm doing to support them. And I just wanted also a charity that had to do with kids. You know, I think that is the most vulnerable part of our society. You know, maybe grown-ups are a little bit, you're a grown-up, you have, you can work, you can get yourself out of, whatever situation of you take your decisions. But I think kids are so vulnerable. So I did wanted something that had to do with kids. And now that they have kids and obviously it's running and a sport, what better way to support them. And Janet, because this group just started, the son is starting it to get it off the ground, there's obviously extra expenses that the house didn't have expected. Like trainers, of course, she was telling me there was like special trainers that you need obviously to run, or special gear, or the backpacks or the t-shirts, all the things that we know that obviously it goes out of the expenses of their normal books that they have in the charity. So I thought, let's do this, and that way we can support them, and also to sign up for races. So she was looking for funds to sign up for races, because obviously you have to pay, to get into races. I think they get some for free. Like obviously the race supports them, but not all the time and not all of them, because there's quite a fair bit of kids. So I'm so excited that we are going to be able to have a positive impact with, to the kids, and hopefully one of them, later on, you never know.
I think it's one of those charities as well, and obviously talking about it and seeing the videos and everything else, you can see it's going to make a direct impact in their lives. So they're not only going to have a better life in terms of there's going to be money there to feed them as well.
Yeah.
There's going to be money there to clothe them, things like that, and support the actual house. However, the other point is, see, having the running thing and investing in that, it's keeping the kids off the streets and getting into trouble. So it's
because the
something
house
for
can
them that to
only
get
keep them
involved in,
until 18 years
Yeah.
old. So if they have a good habit, that's the other thing Jeanette was saying. Just obviously there is a lot of kids that get lost after being
it's
in
a
the
great
house.
charity. It
If we give them those tools and they're in that habit and that background of, hey, you don't need that to maybe not get away, but maybe overcome your past. You can do it in a healthy way. So yeah, I'm very excited. So I will put all the details down below. That would be great if you can support. I am selling the kilometer at 5 quid the kilometer. So we are running 1,250 kilometers in a year. Times 5, I think it comes to 6,000 or something. And then every single penny is going to go to them. And also, we are starting a store merchandise from the Ultra Happy podcast, which also will be we'll be sending 10% of all those purchases towards the charity as well. So I brought a couple for whoever is watching us on YouTube. If you're not watching, you should. So I'll show you the merch. It is from Ultra Happy podcast, and it's for ultra runners. So you can see, describe it.
Oh, it says Ultra Vibe on it.
Yeah.
That one's for the after, isn't it? That one's for wearing when you've completed, because you've got that face.
That's my face after like 80 or 100 kilometers.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That was my face after the marathon this weekend.
It was indeed, yeah.
So it's really good quality, by the way.
Yeah, you said it's really good quality.
Yeah, really good quality. And also we have t-shirts. It says, this one's even funnier. So all of them are designed by me. And this one says Ultra Runner on the front. I'll show this one also to the camera because this is quite funny. Describe it.
Yep, so again, this is the happy face and the skull, the Ultra Runner one, and show them the flip side.
It says Ultra Runner.
Yeah.
It's super funny because when you're running, you are happy. You don't look very happy in the outside because you look a little bit dead, but you're happy inside with a happy face as well. So
I think that both of those faces they're knackered after an ultra.
That's exactly how I feel after a run. So they are unisex sizes. And the last one's a little bit of a colorful cheer one. It says happy. This is my favorite one. Happy Ultra Runner with a little bit of a graffiti design. So again, for anyone that's in Spotify, I will leave the link below and you can see all the merch that we have from the Ultra Happy podcast. And again,
and a percentage of that goes to the charity.
Yeah, as well. So you get a hoodie, a really good one to wear maybe after your runs, keep you warm and toasty. And you are also supporting the kids from the charity Semillas Durango as well. So yeah, please join us, donate, or just get your merch. That also would go and help the kids. And yeah, that's it for today. That was a quite informative podcast.
Yeah,
I feel like that was a lot.
A wee bit about the race and so on. And so what we got next week?
I need to go home and check again a lot of
all the
South
passport
Africa
and visa and stuff.
I've been doing that for a week. I'm so tired. I don't understand anything.
What have we got next week?
Yeah, next week. So next week, super exciting. Next week we have Alvar, my nutritionist. So if you have any nutrition questions, please shoot them this way. Same thing as we did with Sarah, with my coach. If you have any questions regards with nutrition, the same. I would advise, obviously, if you have any nutrition question or if you're looking for, don't try to follow any programs online or downloadable. It would be, and more so with nutrition, I think, because we are all so different. So try to go with specialists. And also, if you are also, even myself, I know I'm a personal trainer and certified and studied personal trainer, and we do have a little bit of a module in school about nutrition. But that doesn't mean that we know everything about nutrition. There is people specialized for nutrition. And then actually one of my sayings is stay in your lane. You know, if I am a PT or a runner, that's why I study for. That's my main. Like, I'm not going to try to be everything, because you will never be good at everything. You will know a little bit, but you will not be as good at everything.
I think I said in a previous podcast as well, is that actually the biggest change to me in all my training, and when I got stuck in a rut and I couldn't figure out what was wrong, was my nutrition. And Albar put me on that path. And I think that for this one, even we'll think about questions that will really...
You'll have a lot of...
Yeah. Well, I think we'll think about questions that will really help other people understand why it's so important. Yeah. Because I don't think a lot of people... I mean, I know a lot of people that I speak to that train at the gym, they're always asking these questions, I can't shift this weight, I can't do this, I do this, that, and the next thing. And they're just going and doing the same thing. What is it that saying? Is it the definition of insanity is doing the same thing every day and expecting different results? You need to change something up. And for me, that was a nutrition thing. So I think it would be really good to have Alvar on.
Yeah. I always had him by my side since day one I started training. And I've never felt... Maybe that's why also one of the biggest reasons why I've been staying away from injuries is because also the nutrition plays a big part in your recovery and in your performance. So I've been able to perform consistently for 8 years and not having
and in your mood. Because if it's not the right nutrition, she's getting very moody.
I get hungry. That's what I was saying like last couple of weeks when I was saying like, I'm really hungry. I'm like struggling. And then I had to call him later in the week. I was like, this is not normal. Like I am, I know the cues. So
I think that'll be a really good episode.
So that if you have any questions again, and even during the meantime, if you have any training questions, of course, shoot them this way. I'm happy to answer any of them. Maybe we'll plan one that is like only Q&A for training and, bits and bobs that we maybe talk about that we haven't, if you have any questions, we will answer them that day for you. And so next episode, nutrition with Alvar. Send your questions. And that was it. Excellent. Well, hope you enjoyed this episode. That was a little bit of a fun recap on the race. And please support the charity and the kids from Semillas Durango. And we'll see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend and keep doing whatever makes you ultra happy.